So, hi, good evening, Nanda Gopi, Sunil Abraham. Nice to see you. We haven't met for a long time. Marisha Desai, how are you?
I'm good, Shankar. How are you?
Good, good. And welcome, Barun. We have Nanda Gopi from Rotary.
Hi, hi all.
Marisha, nice to see you.
Hi, good to see you all. Barun here from TGS Bangalore.
Hi, Barun. Nice to see you. This is the time when we should have been preparing for the exhibition.
Yeah, I am missing that actually.
Shankar sir, we are live on Facebook.
We have Dr. Krishna Mohan. Special welcome to Dr. Krishna Mohan.
Hello, doctor.
Welcome, Krishna Mohan, sir.
We have Jenny who has joined us from Portugal.
Wow.
Wow.
And
Hi, everyone. This is Jenny from Portugal.
hi, Jenny. Nice to have you with us.
Thank you so much. Nice to meet you all.
And we have Arun Mohan from MSSI. So a special welcome to Arun from all of us.
Thank you so much, Shankar.
I'm sure, you know, there are a lot of friends of ours. I'm just kind of picking up just a few people, but a warm welcome to everybody. So,
probably you should,
Yes, sir. Yeah, we are live on Facebook. We have 53 participants.
Yeah.
Yeah, so should we wait for another 2 minutes and then start?
I think we'll just start with introductions and all those things. By then people will join. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure, sir.
Girish's battery also is running off. So. Right. So let's start with the audio visual and then we'll take it forward from there.
Shankar, it's already dropped to 10%, so I think probably it might just go off anytime. Yeah, I think you can take over, just manage.
Sorry, Girish, I didn't get you.
No, the batteries are dropped down to 10%, so it might go off anytime.
Okay. I'll take care. Yeah, I'll take care, Girish. Not to worry.
Yeah. Thank you, Shankar.
Just a moment, please. A very good evening to all of you. A warm welcome to today's webinar on photography for a cause. I have great pleasure in welcoming Mr. Anand Sharan, Director of Anand Sharan Photography Workshops, Girish Mayachari, very enthusiastic photographer who's won many awards and many accreditations. We have Punkaj, again, a very passionate photographer who's into travel photography, and also the Honorary Secretary of the Multiple Sclerosis Society. I have great pleasure in welcoming Meghna. Meghna has been one of the founding members. Vinay, can you just check the unwanted audio, please? Yeah. I request everybody to be on mute if you're not speaking or if you're not saying anything. So I request Vinay, if you can put everybody on mute, please.
Yeah.
Shankar,
So now we can start, unmute and start.
Yeah, I'd like to welcome Meghna, who's one of our founding members. She's been there, a very active member since we started in 2012. I have Bernie with me, who's an entrepreneur and photographer, and she handles all our, PR and publicity for TGIS whenever we do the exhibitions. And we have Sreekumar, the CEO of Honeycomb Printing Division, and we have Vinay as well supporting us. So from Honeycomb. So thank you all of you for joining, and I extend a warm welcome to all the members who have joined to look at the the whole subject of how we can use photography for a cause. And I'd like to take us to the story right from where it began to Mr. Anand Sharan. And I'll request Mr. Anand Sharan to share a few thoughts about how the idea of TGIS started and what was the need for it, and a little bit of a background about what he did and how it all translated into this wonderful group TGIS, and then how did it translate into these exhibitions. So may I request Anand Sharan to share a few words. Over to you, sir. Anand, you need to unmute yourself.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we are loud and clear. Go ahead.
Thank you for the introduction, Shankar. And I'll give you a brief background about how this group started. I've been teaching for about now 17 years. I'm a professional photographer, and during weekends, I conduct these workshops. And now it's been over 15 years, I think. And I'm very proud to say some of my students have done very well for themselves. They won international awards, national recognition, and they're excellent photographers. One day I was discussing with Shankar, I said, look, we must give an opportunity to these students to display their pictures in an exhibition. And that's how it triggered off. First, it was very difficult for me and Shankar because we didn't know and we didn't have support like Honeycomb. Printing was difficult, putting together an exhibition was difficult, and there were just two of us. So it took a lot of efforts because no money was involved. And so we've been through a lot of struggles. But today we have, between Anand Sharan Photography and TGIS, nearly 3,000. I didn't see these photographs of T.L. Ramaswamy. Sorry for interrupting, but this man is my guru. Anyway, so coming back to what I was saying earlier, so we have 3,000 people and they're all excellent photographers. And later on, a lot of students joined in, pitched in and said, okay, we'll help you organize the exhibitions. So every year for the past now 8 years, and once before that, we all get together pool in our resources and organize an exhibition. And we also sell the pictures because they are really excellent, top quality pictures. The prints are excellent, matches very international museum quality prints. And if I just want, before I get into the aspect of how the group started and how it's working, I want to give you a little brief about my teaching, because for the past, like I said, about 15, 16 years, every now and then I've been reviewing the way I teach. And it has been very helpful because I also get a feedback from the students. I'll tell you what beginners or photo enthusiasts or already professionals, they need to understand that this is an art form. Buying a fancy camera, buying fancy lenses will not make you a great photographer. What we need to understand is it's an art form. So somewhere in between, after about 5 or 6 years of teaching, I realized something was missing. And that's when I introduced the art part of photography. I share paintings of great artists to understand interplay of light and shadow and so on. And there was a dramatic improvement. And so I said, look, in fact, one quotation I remember of Ansel Adams, he says, you don't make a photograph with a camera. You bring to the act of photography all the pictures you have seen, all the books you have read, the music you have heard, and the people you have loved. There's a lot of emotions behind photography, whether it's commercial photography or fine art or whatever kind of photography you want to do, even wedding photography. So unless there is passion, unless you learn the art properly, it will be a trial and error method. So the whole idea of this group was to give them a lot of chance to show their pictures and practice after the workshop was over. And it is for free. So far, we don't charge anything. TGIS is a non-profit organization. And we do not get help from anybody, no kind of financial help. And we are open to any kind of suggestion. And we, of course, before the COVID days, we used to meet every weekend, share our thoughts, practice, and then we really used to have a great time. I hope we see these days back again. But let me put this, what you can expect out of this webinar this evening. You, as a photographer, you need support systems. What I mean by that is, whether it is the printer, whether if you're shooting film, how to develop a transparency, who's going to do it. Professional help is available. And what this webinar plans to do is give you all aspects of the support system which is available readily with the group and in Bangalore. So unless you take the help of these professionals, you will not be able to generate that kind of quality. I remember in those days when I used to shoot slides, till Prabhu opened Kodak Q-Lab on Brigade Road, processing transparencies was the biggest headache. It had all kinds of color cast, good prints were not available, exhibition quality prints. All that is now in the past. So this webinar, I hope all the participants and the people here on the screen will be able to help out of beginners and photographers to put together some kind of a professional level of help that is required. And Shankar has been doing a great job because he's been handling, along with support of few students, this whole setup, TGIS, for a number of years now. And I want to thank him and also my students who come forward so readily to help us. So this is where I break off, and Shankar, please take over, moderate. I think Girish is coming on next.
Yeah, thank you, Sharan. Before we go on to Girish, one question for you is that the whole context whole context of why we wanted people to print the pictures. Basically, I think it's very important to talk about it. Because when you see an image on let's say on the LCD or on a computer, it always looks great. And I suppose that whenever we were curating the exhibitions, we found out that we had to reject a lot of images, but they were not of good quality. And I think the photographers also learned from that. So
yeah, that is exactly what I thought. We'll sort out during this short duration how to get professional help. That's exactly what I was talking about earlier. Because but most of them hesitate to come forward. You see, their monitor screens are not calibrated, and even if they don't have calibrated monitor screens, they can take the help of Honeycomb because they're ready to help anytime. They've been most helpful, and don't worry about the cost, because sometimes Honeycomb works for free, helping out the students, particularly from TGIS. They've been very helpful. That is one aspect. Second is, I want the students to realize that the camera is a very powerful tool. Whether it is the George Floyd murder in the US, whether it is the immigrants, their tragedy, traveling across the country miles, their sufferings, everything can be captured and it can change the world. It can motivate people, it can cause revolutions. Photography is a very powerful tool, so you have to learn it properly. And it is not just about aperture and shutter. It is much more than that. I certainly do hope that people who are photographers with an SLR take it up a little more seriously, because otherwise your life is not complete. I mean, you take pictures sometimes by accident, and then of course you show it to your friends and your family and they say, oh, you're a great photographer. But when you're asked to repeat the same kind of quality, you're not able to do because it's a trial and error method. This can be avoided. And I do look forward, I don't know when, but the next exhibition we organize, I hope a lot more participants come forward, because it was always my dream to take up the whole of Chitrakala Parisar, all the floors for the students in our exhibition. I hope that happens.
Sure. Yeah, thank you. And I think one more thing we realized when we were doing the exhibitions is a lot of people used to submit the pictures, but when we actually looked at it from a printing perspective, many of the pictures did not qualify. And we had to kind of reject them, and people did not understand as to why the picture looked so nice on their screen, but they were not in a printable quality. I think many times it was due to post-processing. It was due to, different color casts and stuff like that. And I think all of us had a good learning from that as to how do we process a picture. Even that was for print, how do we process a picture for print? I think that was a very important learning.
Yeah, that's very important, because, I think basically don't come forward to share their pictures and get them analyzed by professional photographers. We have so many photographers in the group who have won international awards, and we try to help them out. Every exhibition, sometimes I say, okay, look, the pictures are good, but there's too much saturation. You call him and ask him to reduce the saturation, but you can't do it if there are about 200, 300 participants, or probably more than that. The first thing one must do is compare the pictures online. Supposing they're shooting wildlife, supposing butterflies or something else. Let them go online and see pictures of butterflies from professional photographers. They can understand then at what levels they are shooting. Instead, most of them ask their friends and family, how's my picture? And invariably, emotional charged parents, oh, you're a great photographer. That's exactly what they would say. But when they come out to the world and see pictures that others have taken, or look at the whole picture from a different perspective, when we sit to organize an exhibition, when we sit to select the pictures, we are looking at all the pictures and some of them appear so bad, some of them appear, just okay, some of them are really excellent, some need help in post-production and so on. But it's so difficult to talk to everyone because last time we had about some 1,000 prints or something, 1,000 entries or something.
Yeah.
That becomes difficult. So I think, but you're always welcome to come forward. If your pictures get rejected, don't be depressed. Don't lose your cool. I have people with some violent reactions because the pictures got rejected. I've been on international panels to select pictures. And we never had this problem because they clearly list out the rules. If your picture is not selected for the prize, obviously you can't go back and say, I'm going to file a case against you because you didn't select my picture. So I think what we should also do is be a little more firm and tell them, look, if your pictures are rejected, it's for a good reason. After all, we do not have any self-interest in that.
Yeah, I think that's a very important point, Sharan, because I think there are a lot of people in the webinar who are planning to have an exhibition and stuff like that, or maybe curate an exhibition, and they will be encountering these kind of challenges in terms of managing the expectations of the participants who are there. I just like to remind you that this was our picture from the first exhibition that we did in 2004, and we had Mr. Yoganand, the district governor of Rotary, and along with Mr. Jacob Jerome, who was the commissioner for BBMP at that point of time, who graced our occasion. And this is the picture of the Vidhan Saudha shot by Mr. Anand Sharan. And this was an aerial picture shot from a helicopter. And this is one of his really, like what we call an iconic picture shot by Anand Sharan here.
Yeah, just have a word.
Right.
This was from a moving helicopter because there's excess weight. There's a videographer in the back, and the pilot said, I cannot hover. So we didn't have time to align. So this is going past the Vidhan Saudha and the High Court in the foreground. So I was shooting film. 100 ISO, there was no sunlight. It was beautiful, typical Bangalore weather. So I had just one chance to click, wind and click. So this is, as far as I'm concerned, a miracle, which probably will live many years after I'm gone. It's so difficult because the height of the helicopter, the closeness to the buildings, everything matters unless it's the same light conditions, the same pilot, the same height. It's very difficult because if you look at the corners, there are no perspective problems. The buildings are straight. I shot with the 35 with the wide angle lens. I made sure, of course, the angle was not too wide, so there are no perspective problems. So even I'm surprised that picture came out so well.
Okay, so we have a request that some people are actually seeing this webinar on their phone, and when comments come up, they do kind of disturb the viewership. So I request Vinay to just limit the comments to the hosts, and there we can open out the comments a little later on once we finish the discussion. So I request Vinay to please change the comments to host only. Okay. Thank you. I also like to mention Vismaya here, very good friends of ours. Mr. Murli has helped us a lot in curating many of the exhibitions as well. And they also run an exhibition to raise funds for the Rotary. And in fact, the phrase photography for a cause was coined by them. And I'd like to attribute the phrase photography for a cause to the Vismaya team. And I don't know if any of you are there on the chat, on the webinar today. I welcome you and those of you from the Vismaya team to our webinar. So that was a younger me way back 16 years ago with my first exhibition, and we had people like even Sudhir Shivaram and even Kalyan Verma, all of them being part of this exhibition. It was a very exciting exhibition at Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan. And we really did not know how to put up the pictures and how to display them and all those things. And we had to learn on the fly conducting the exhibition. And this was a group, earlier it was called as Bangalore Shutterbugs or BSB. And we had friends like Renith and Sabir and all who were the founders of BSB. And later on, you know, this was a Yahoo group. And then later on, this turned into a Flickr group. And then there were multiple groups on Flickr. And then later on, we moved into Facebook in 2001. And from Facebook, we started a group once again. And this was another exhibition that we held after the 2004 exhibition, where Mr. Anil Kumble and Mrs. Jija Hari Singh. Sharan, am I correct? Anil Kumble was the chief guest here, and you can see some of our founding members of Bangalore Shutterbugs there. We have Venkatesh from Lensaul, who's here, and Sabir, who's a leading, you know, black and white photographer. So we were all there at that point of time. You know, we had started this whole thing about doing shoots together and exhibiting way back in 2004. And in between, we had taken a break and because of career issues and all those things, and then came back. So then we started with TGIS. And I do not know if Girish is there. Meghna, is Girish still there on the...
No, he's not there.
Okay, so probably I'll ask Meghna and Bernie and Punkaj to fill in Girish's perspective. So, Meghna, could you just talk to us about how we go about TGIS and what do we do in TGIS basically? Who is a mentor, how the shoots are organized and stuff like that. Can you just give a few pointers? And Punkaj and Bernie, you can add in to this.
Sure. So this Facebook group started way back in 2012. I was one of the first female photographers. So then most of the members that's the first shoot, and that we can see Sabir, Renith, Sandeep, Shankar, me. We're all there in one frame. So most of the members of TGS are all Anand Sharan's students who have done basic or fashion photography workshop under him, and then joined the group. So we used to meet on Saturdays morning, do a shoot. After shoot, we would have planned for a portrait or macro, depending upon what was planned for that weekend. So we would have mentors accordingly, and who would guide us if we are doing a portrait, what would be the first best angle or something, guide us, because we were all amateurs. We don't know how to go about it. So someone used to be there to teach us how do we go about it. And so post shoot, we all used to go and have our breakfast together. That's where we used to review the pictures. The mentors used to give feedback for us. That's one of the portrait shoots. You can see people from all angles trying to click the model. So usually we used to meet in Cubbon Park. So that's when then go to airlines for our breakfast. That used to be our Saturday adda. That's why the name TGIS. Saturday morning we used to meet. And for monochrome, we had Sabir Ahmed as our mentor, and macro, our Girish Mayachari was our macro guru. Portrait, Sharan sir and Shankar were there. This is one of the monochrome workshop where Sabir Bhai was actually explaining he actually came prepared with a whiteboard and gave actually tips for the team there. So this is how we work. Pankaj and Bernie, you want to add something?
No, I think, just to add, Meghna, I think the biggest difference which is there between, the Anand Sharan workshop and the other workshop, apart from the quality, the high quality of training, is of course this group, right? This TGIS group is very special. I mean, how often do we get a chance to practice on a regular basis what we have learned? and we are all learning every day. So we learn from each other. We have fun as well. So I think this is great, and the fact that we are able to bring this to the public as well, and also do for a social cause, for a good cause, is something which is beyond words. Is super special.
So I also, we had not only just the members, but they would bring their family as well here. We have Madhu and her son, who's of course become a big boy now. We had a lot of, like family moments. It was a time where people bring their little kids and they would be models for us. We did maternity shoots for our own team members. We did couple shoots. So it was a very family kind of an environment. So it was more like a TGIS family atmosphere that we created, and a lot of camaraderie, a lot of fun. And Bernie, you could probably add your experience of your experience of attending one of the TGIS shoots, and what.
Yeah, I was actually going to say that the nice thing is once we become a member of TGIS, it's not like, as you can see here, it's not like the learning stops or at any point. Everyone in the group has a different interest, and I think we're quite democratic that way, in which we keep asking or doing polling of what people would like to learn next, be it, and there have been overnight out of Bangalore trips to do night photography, for example. A group went to Kerala, Shankar, Meghna and the others for a shoot. So we're not limited to weekends. We also see what everyone wants, how it's feasible. And I think that's a nice thing. We're flexible that way, and we keep the learning.
Also went to Sikkim. Some of the group members went to Sikkim, all the way to Sikkim.
Yeah, so there are constant attempts, even though nobody's getting paid in this group, there's constant attempts to make sure that everyone finds a good way to learn what they like, what their interest is.
Right. So thank you, Bernie. And now, Pankaj, I would like you to talk about the cause MSSI, where we have been doing a lot of the proceeds for, and something about how we chose this particular cause, why it was chosen, and how was your own experience of joining TGIS and then later on becoming part of MSSI and all those things. So I think that would be very interesting to hear from you, Pankaj.
Sure. Thanks, Shankar. I will. I think, like I said before, it's my privilege to be, to have learned photography from Mr. Anand Sharan, and to be part of the TGIS group, and to have many mentors who are still teaching me photography, and I'm learning every day. So basically, when I think the first exhibition I attended was I think 5-6 years back of the TGIS exhibition, and that's when I got to know about how often TGIS meet, and to be join them and be part of the exhibitions from then. It's been a super special journey for me with Anand Sharan and TGIS, and of course all my friends there. So I think for the others on this webinar who might be considering to have your exhibition either individual or in a group, I think it's also going to be very nice and very important to consider to attach a social cause to the exhibition, and it has multiple benefits. It gives a nice social angle to the exhibition. It helps drive more footfalls, which of course helps spread awareness of the social cause. It definitely helps with fundraising if you are selling pictures as well, like TGIS does in their exhibitions. And it also helps in marketing the exhibition much better with the press and the chief guest, etc. And I know Bernie and Meghna will talk about their experience with the press and the chief guest, but it has multiple benefits, right? So you should strongly consider attaching a social cause to your exhibitions if you have one. I think that'll have a lot of benefits, and even if anywhere in the world, right? So whether even in Portugal, if you plan to have an exhibition, Jenny, I think it is worth considering a social cause of some sort. I mean, it can be anything. So TGIS, like Shankar mentioned before, has been associated with the MSSI, Multiple Sclerosis Study of India, for many years now. And for those of you who don't know, multiple sclerosis, or MS, is a disease which affects the central nervous system. There is no cure and there is no treatment, and there is no known reason as to why it happens as well. And I am an MS patient as well, so that's how I started taking up photography as after I got MS and joined TGIS, and I'm very happy to be part of that. So TGIS, like I said, has been associated with MSSI for many years now, and we have done some very special things as well. For example, I think a couple of years back, TGIS, some of us in TGIS, about 5 photographers, we also got together and did a very unique exhibition called Seeing the Unseen. So one thing about MS as a disease is that the symptoms of MS are very invisible, right? So it's like you have fatigue or blurry vision or double vision, swallowing issues, etc., which is not always very visible to the outside world, right? So it is very important for the community and the society to understand what an MS person goes through and what are some of the symptoms which may be invisible to the outside world. So basically what we did, the 5 photographers, is that we took some invisible symptoms and very creatively depicted those symptoms in a photographic way, right, through photographs. And that was, and if any of you are interested, we are more than happy to share some of the photographs with you. I don't think we have it on the slide, but we can share it with you separately if you need. And so we used those photographs to have an exhibition where we had a lot of government officials as well coming in, a lot of footfalls. We played a lot of games as well, where we had a sheet where we had the symptoms mentioned, and you're supposed to match the symptoms to the photograph, right? And so it was a nice fun thing as well, and it was nice to see so many people getting it wrong. I think most of them got it right, but a lot of them got it wrong as well. So it was very interesting to see a huge learning for all of us on that. So that was a huge awareness from an MS perspective.
So Pankaj, what kind of funds did we raise with the exhibition? I mean, on an average?
Yeah, so Seeing the Unseen, we didn't raise any funds as such, but the TGI's exhibition, which we have, where we have, like Anand and Shankar mentioned about, where we have all the participants come in and their travel photographs or wildlife or any macro photographs as well, where we have this exhibition on an annual basis, where we actually sell the pictures to the public. And we have raised, close to 5 to 6 lakhs year on year for the society. And this is just for all of you know, MSSI is not a very well-known disease, which means that the government support is very minimal, if anything at all. So the society depends very hugely on these exhibitions for fundraising for corporate, etc. So for the Bangalore chapter, this exhibition is one of the major sources of income, so to speak, to run their daily or annual activities, where we fund some patients with physiotherapy sessions or medical reimbursements. So the fact that this exhibition cannot happen this year, at least as planned this year earlier, is going to be very unfortunate for the patients of MS. But hopefully, once the times are better, we will have it in maybe a different shape or form, or maybe online or whatever. We are discussing all that, but it's been great. This has been a great support to MSSI. And once again, as a secretary of MSSI, I would like to thank all the TGIS members, Anand Sharan, Shankar, and all the members to be a great support in being able to enrich the lives of the MS patients by a little bit. So,
thank you. Thank you, Punkaj, for those.
I want, Shankar, 1 minute.
Yeah.
I just want to take this opportunity to thank my students, whether they're in TGIS or not members of TGIS, because for the past 12 years, I made some very good friends. They've not become my close friends, not just students, and shared some fantastic moments with them, traveling right up to the Himalayas, traveling to Kerala in the south. I had some great times. And they're very sincere people. The sincerity of this organization, I am not able to get over even now. So I want to request members who are watching this, participating in this webinar, to become members of TGIS. You're on Facebook. Shankar will give you the details. So when this COVID business gets over, we should all get together and have a huge exhibition.
Sure, Sharan, that's a very good idea. We'll look forward to it. We are also right now stuck in the homes, and we are itching to catch up and meet. We miss all the get-togethers. We miss all the fun that we used to have, and the COVID situation has not made it easy for us. I hope and pray that we soon, enjoy those moments. Probably now, looking back, I think we, we didn't value that so much, but now if you go back, and I was trying to put the whole presentation together, each picture that I put together was so nostalgic for me, because, I was thinking, oh my God, we had so much fun, and now, we didn't even realize that how important it was for us to, be together and connect together.
Well said, well said.
So, Meghna, I request you now just to take us through how do we normally, go through, because I think we took around so many years to finalize and fine-tune the way we, register a person to the end when we actually exhibit the picture. So maybe you could help us to, let us know how does TGIS work with the exhibition, and that will give us an idea for the other people as to maybe, maybe they can also follow a similar pattern. So Meghna, over to you.
Sure, Shankar, thank you. So since we already explained that this is a self-funded exhibition, we don't have any sponsors as such. So for someone who wants to register for the exhibition, will have to pay a nominal fee of $1,000. That is the seed amount, which will be used for all the expenses that gets into making this exhibition happen. So once a person registers and sends us, we would have nominated someone, so they will have to send us the registration details and their details. So we have our print partner Honeycomb, who would create drives for each and every person who registers with us. So they will get an access to drive wherein they can upload the pictures which they want to submit for the exhibition. We would allow a maximum of 5 pictures per drive per person. So that's how it goes. Then once we would have set a deadlines for them, where we would have set the deadlines for registrations first. So after that, we would not be taking any registrations. Post that, we would give time for them to upload pictures. So once the time is gone, then that's when the actual selection process starts. And inside every drive for every person, there'll be a folder like selected ones, or probably with some, if none of my 5 pictures get selected, they would come back to us and asking, do you have any more pictures which you want to exhibit? So that's, there are people who have questions why my pictures were selected, as explained. So they would explain why, what they are looking for in all the pictures. So if you have more, you can select more. So unless you say I have no more, you can. So the max of 3 pictures is what we select per exhibition per person to be.
So just let me interrupt you.
Yeah.
So maybe I can ask Pankaj and Bernie on this point here. So what was your learning about what pictures were being selected, and I mean, did you have any expectation when you put in that, these images were put in and then, what you thought was not being selected and some other?
Yeah, so basically, Shankar, when I submitted the pictures for the first time, I thought all 5 of mine will be selected for sure. I said, who in the right mind would not select any of those pictures, right? So, which is when, it was, like I said, a huge learning. And, and we all know that typically, who would buy a picture, right? If somebody comes to the exhibition, why would they buy a picture? They would buy a picture either as a gift or to put it in their living room or, study room or whatever. So it was, one is you click pictures for yourself, for your, memories and for your skills. And one thing is to use click pictures for, to beautify somebody else's life and home, right? So I think the latter is what we kind of focus on for an exhibition perspective, because those are the pictures which sell. So,
so over the years of exhibition, we also got an idea of studying the people who are purchasing the pictures. We found certain patterns. Some of the patterns we saw was that landscapes used to sell, and especially landscapes with water bodies because of Vastu and Feng Shui or whatever it is, they used to sell. Anything from a religious perspective which appeals to them that they would sell, those pictures would sell. Generally, pleasant pictures would sell. And when we saw that wildlife, to a large extent, people appreciated. People, looked at the wildlife pictures and said, wow, this is so good. This tiger is so good, or this elephant is so good. But elephants would sell, but tigers, are always a challenge, because especially tiger with a kill or something like that, it's a great award-winning picture maybe, but you wouldn't want to put a tiger with a kill in your living room. So I think many people who are doing different genres of photography were feeling very upset the fact that, why are my pictures, they're such good pictures, why are they not being selected? Because of the fact that, we were actually curating it from 2 points of view. One is that they need to also be saleable from perspective, because we were also raising funds. And, whenever the picture is sold, of course, the person also feels good, rather than taking back the picture, which is left unsold. The person also feels disappointed at the end of the day if the picture is not sold. So keeping this in view, these were some of the criteria which, Sharan and who are on the, curating used to consider while selecting the pictures. So Bernie, any lessons from your side about, pictures being...
If you're not actively thinking about the fact that there's the exhibition coming up, then it becomes a real challenge to find photos that we can submit for the, for the exhibition and the criteria that Shankar was talking about. For me, I had the opposite challenge that Punkaj had. He had too many photos which he thought got selected, who thought would get selected, and I didn't have enough to choose from. Because for me, it was like, would I want this on someone? I mean, do I think someone will want this on their wall? The answer was almost always no. So that left me with, while there was a maximum of 5, I think I would just put 2 photos, if at all, and hope that one of them would get selected ultimately. So that's the other side, flip side of it. If you're not planning for thinking of what someone can want on their wall, and if it's not a very personal kind of photo that makes sense only to you, then it becomes a challenge to, find something that sells.
Right. So I think, that was also a very big learning point for all the people who participated, just to observe the behavior of the visitors on what pictures that they like, and they would actually probably ask somebody, can you explain me how you took this picture and stuff like that. So some pictures were more interesting, and some pictures like people would just pass by. So I think it was very important learning for all of us to just observe people to see how they interact with a image. Vis-a-vis just we put something on the Facebook and some few people put a like and it's a swipe and it's gone. But here people would really spend more time actually looking at the image and spend a lot of time in the image. Yes, Meghna, over to you. I think we kind of interrupted your flow. So anything else that happens after the pictures are selected and stuff like that, what happens?
So we would ask them to upload the high resolution pictures, and that would again go for printing. The printing part, our print partner Honeycomb will take it over later. So these are the basic task force groups what we have created, like for IT infrastructure and IT background, like mailing them, creating the drive, talking to them, all that, and managing promotion and self. So because it's a self-funded exhibition, we don't have any PR agency who would do that. So our internal team would do that. For finance manager, for registrations on all the expenses that happens, we would have one team who would completely own the finance management. Then CKP task force, that's actually the most important part of the exhibition, where the venue plays a very important role. That is something what we learned over the years during our exhibition. So CKP has always been our favorite. So from the inauguration, making set right from the time the pictures comes into CKP, goes on the wall, and how it has to be arranged till the closure where the frames have been taken back to the Honeycomb office. It's where matters a lot. So the CKP task force is the most important people, I would say, because they do a lot of ground job there. So then sponsors and support task force, we would get some sponsorship from a friend who would know that we are doing a good deed, and like how about me doing some, I mean, there are people who have actually gone and asked for sponsorship also. Sometimes we would not have enough funding to drive it, so we would ask for sponsors, so who would actually come and do this. Then Honeycomb coordination task force. Honeycomb it's been really a pleasure working with Honeycomb for the past 7 years. The way they handle everything from the printing to the delivery of the photographs, it's been amazing working with the team. Anything you would like to add, Shankar?
Yeah, I'd also like to add about the learning we had about working with different galleries. So we worked with 3 different galleries. One was Chitrakala Parishad, which is in the heart of the city, and Rangoli Metro, and then there was a Venkatappa Art Gallery. Venkatappa Art Gallery is a very nice gallery. Unfortunately, the infrastructure is very bad in terms of, we did it in the summer.
Usha sitting next to him.
Huh? Sorry. Okay. So the Venkatappa Art Gallery, there was it was very central, very nicely located, central area. Everything was very nice. But the biggest challenge was, like, for example, it was so hot, we got around 6 fans. We hired 6 fans to keep the whole thing cool. And then it was having issues of access. The lift was there, but it was not working. So people who are wheelchair bound, they could not come up to the stairs. We had to carry them up. So we had a lot of challenges in the Venkatappa Art Gallery. At the Rangoli Metro, we expected a lot of footfall. And we decided there, but on the day that we had the exhibition, it rained heavily, especially on the Saturday and Sunday, if you remember. And it was a total washout, and we were feeling so disappointed that people could not come. And also there's a problem with parking, okay? But even with Chitrakala Parishad, we had problems in terms of, one day there was a VIP who came in, and they closed the gates and they said this is a VIP, and it was a Sunday. The whole Sunday was lost out because there was a VIP meeting in Chitrakala Parishad, and they just could not allow any of our people to come into the gallery. So I think, but keeping all this in view, I think Chitrakala Parishad is the most convenient place for us to do the thing, and also it is little reasonable for us to because it's a government-run art gallery. It is very reasonable also. So I think in the future we decided that East or West Chitrakala Parishad is the best, and then continue with that. So I think one of the important points here is the PR and how we go about the PR part of it. And I think those of you who are also planning to do an exhibition, whether it's a solo exhibition or a group exhibition, that's an important part. So I request Bernie to just share a few thoughts about how we go about the social media and the invites and various other things that we do.
Sure. I think Mr. Anand Sharan wanted to say something. He was putting his hand up earlier.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about the press and the media team. they really have a hard time. They try very hard to get us a write-up in the local papers, even a small write-up. But most of the press, the major media, the print media, and even the television media, they're somehow reluctant to give us any space or time. After all, this is a worthy cause, and we are promoting photography, which is also quite a major thing, because unlike the West, where a lot of people invest in photographs, people here invest only in painting. But so we are contributing to a movement apart from helping the organization like MSSI. Why can't the press give us some help? So if the people who are participating in this summit webinar can give us any help, the contacts in the press, most welcome to come forward, because we need that desperately. And I can assure you that the pictures are world class by any standards, because I'm also in the Saatchi Gallery in London. I've seen the pictures there. I've compared to the pictures the students are shooting here, and they are professional photographers. Here, very few people can afford to be professional photographers. They have to work during the day in the IT or some other industry, and during the weekends go and shoot. They really have a hard time. So why can't the press give us some space? This has always been, I'm always with the press and media team.
Yeah, so Bunny will tell us about some of the challenges and success stories about, dealing with the media. Bunny, over to you.
Yeah. I'm going to approach this, and I'm assuming that there are enough people over here who are looking at how to use an exhibition in order to raise funds for an NGO. So I'm going to look at this from a 360-degree angle of what all it takes to promote and publicize it, especially given what Mr. Anand Sharan was just saying, that it's very difficult to get the press interested in anything. So first and foremost, one needs to build a good story around what is happening, what we're doing, why is this photography exhibition happening, who are the people getting supported, are there live or real testimonials from the beneficiaries that can be added to the story. Something that is truly an emotional build-up and a full reason why someone should be interested, newsworthy, especially if you could find a good celebrity and a good name to include and be part of your inauguration. This all forms a good background story that is the base of going out and doing any publicity. So the first and foremost thing is build your story. Then look at all the people you're working with. You have the photographers, you have the NGO who you're supporting, you have the printer you're working with, your past buyers if you have done an exhibition in the past, you have the press and other media, and you have other photography groups that you're affiliated with. You have a lot of touch points. So the thing to do is identify all of those touch points, all of those groups who can further take the message out and publicize the exhibition to their networks. Don't get stuck on, very formal, very only looking at press releases or only looking at some formal forms of media. Go all out and be innovative with how you can connect and do an outreach. In fact, you can even, one of the years, we even did something called a flash mob, where we went to a mall and told them that this is for a cause, and asked them to give space in their mall. And a group of dancers, who some of whom are affiliated to TGIS, did a flash mob dance over there, surprised the people, surprised the customers who were walking around. And the TGIS members then went and started talking to them and told them about the exhibition. So it's actually just as innovative as you can get is what your publicity can do for you. Within the realm of what actually you can do, there's social media. Of course, the social media of your photographers, there's social media of your printer, this multiple things that can happen on social media, be it posters, be it videos, be it testimonials, all of that. There are posters that you can put up. Now, all of your photographers are working at some company or the other. They live in some apartment complex or the other. Create posters that they can put up at their places of living and of work so that others get to know about it. Mailers to your, again, the ones who are working in corporates all have corporate citizenship teams, corporate social responsibility teams. Let them know about this. They might be interested in supporting the cause in some way. So what I'm trying to say is just be as open-minded and think through all of the ways in which you could possibly promote the exhibition. There's radio. Radio jockeys do radio mentions. They talk about exhibitions, especially if they're for a cause. So, go out and reach out to them, tell them what it's about. They might pick it up and talk about it on radio. Even community radio. So there are some community radio channels, something called Radio Active, which we were part of a couple of years back. They did interviews with us and promoted it because they are interested in things that happen for the community. So just, use your networks wisely. For the print and TV channel outreach, think through a nice way of inviting them for the inauguration. Give them a press release, and that press release can be, the story that I spoke about, and then what is the exhibition about, why they should attend it, when, where, how. Make them part of an inauguration, tell them who the chief guest is going to be so that they feel interested in coming. And then accordingly, give them some of the pictures that are going to be, that they're going to see, pick up some of the best ones, put them on a CD and give it to them. So make it as interesting and as easy for them as possible. Also, a lot of the newspapers have event sections in the paper. So look out for their email IDs. They're always listed in the papers, what's happening in Bangalore, what's hot in Bangalore, all of that kind of thing. Look out for those, tell them about it. So make multiple touch points to reach out and, get as much publicity as you can. Shankar, I'll pause here if you have things to add on.
Yeah, I think, Bernie, with your knowledge of, the social media and also communications, you really, helped us to streamline and structure this. But I think it's a very important job for the exhibition, because if it is not visible, if the exhibition is not visible, you won't get audience coming over to the, to buy the pictures or even come and see the pictures. Another important part was our own networks that we had every exhibition would have at least 60 members, 50 to 60 members, including volunteers. So each of them would at least invite, the task was then to invite at least 50 people. So that was a mandate given to each person, and they actually went beyond that. So that really helped also, because each of the photographers would go and tap into their network, and whether it's a corporate network, family, friends network. So that would also help us to bring in a lot of footfalls to the exhibition. Sharan, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I was just wondering, this is something that we have not tried. We should approach big corporates who have a huge advertising budget. They spend a lot of money on the media. And if the exhibition letters go through them to the press, they carry a lot of weight. So we might be able to get the press to give us some space or time on TV.
Sure, Sharan, sure. We also did something innovative, like we had one of our friends, in Delhi, studied under Mr. Raghurai. So we had Mr. Raghurai endorsing us in one of the exhibitions. So I just have a short clipping of his. So let's just sit back and watch this clipping.
First of all, I'd like to congratulate the group called Thank God It's a Saturday. It's funny and strange because the moment a photographer reads this name, he knows what you guys are talking about, right? That thank God for you professionals, it's a Saturday, and on weekends you can take pictures. So you are so, passionate about photography that you're waiting for the Saturday to arrive. Wonderful, My congratulations to all of you, and also to MSSI for supporting such a cause, and you guys coming in collaboration with them to help them with the exhibitions and funds. It's a wonderful idea. I'm sorry I can't make it this time, but I wish you the best so that you have the best pictures and better money coming in for the support of this organization. So that's wonderful, and God bless you for doing this. And photography is so precious, and it's becoming more precious with so many professionals also coming into it in different ways and becoming photographers. So who knows, next time you'll be a full-time photographer. All the best.
So, so we've done all kinds of things to make, get visibility. And another most important aspect of this whole thing, I think I would attribute to is the kind of quality of prints that made it so attractive that people keep, I know people who came to the exhibition at least 3-4 times every year and purchase some prints. I would like to ask Sreekumar to give us some pointers to printing for an exhibition. What goes in? What are some of the things that we need to keep in mind while we go about printing for an exhibition? Sreekumar, over to you.
Thank you, Shankar sir. So first of all, let me just tell you how we started off and how our connection with TGIS was. It was way back in 2012 when one of my friend who was a student of Anand Sharan sir, he actually mentioned that TGIS is planning to have an exhibition in 2013. Then our director, Mr. Naufal, he went and met Mr. Anand Sharan and Mr. Shankar, and just wanted to know that what is the kind of printing that we do. And even Mr. Naufal's wife, Reshma, was a student of Mr. Anand Sharan. So then they were glad, they wanted to first see the quality of the prints before proceeding. And then we printed some samples for them, and they were happy with the quality of the print. And that's how it started off in 2013. And then it went on till, we have had 7 editions, and we will be going ahead with many more exhibitions to come. Now, as Shankar sir mentioned about the quality of the prints, we print on Epson P9000 and Epson 9900 printers, which are 11 color printers, and the inks used are archival inks. And when it comes to the medium that we print on, the substrates, we print on fine art paper or archival paper, they call it, and on acid-free canvases. So for TGIS, we have printed on papers from Epson like Enhanced Matte and Premium Luster, and also printed on Hahnemühle paper and Hahnemühle canvas, which is one of the world-class papers and canvases known. So these printers and these papers and canvases, they are the main quality of them is they are acid-free and they don't have optical brightness. And when it is printed on this 11 color machines, it gives out very high gamut of colors. So, and it is printed in RGB mode. So when they checked on all the prints, like be it black and white, be it color, be it any type of printing, they were very happy with the quality of the print. So, so that way, we were able to convince the photographers, all of them, all the students, and that's how our journey started. And through TGIS exhibitions, we were able to connect with various groups like Shankar sir mentioned the Vismaya group, where Mr. Murli Santanam and Mr. Amar Bhaskar are the main people. So we could do exhibitions for them. And now when I talk about the exhibition, like how we participate in TGIS, like we go and we meet the photographers who are part of TGIS, we explain to them the type of media, the type of prints that they can make, and the type of frames that they can do. Then once that is done, then as Meghna mentioned earlier, they would be sharing us the Google Drive where we would be downloading the pictures, and we would be showing the pictures on our calibrated monitor to the curators of the exhibition. And on their approval, we would print the same, and they would approve the colors and print the same, and then send it to send it for framing. And once it's framed, then we take it to the destination, that is whether it is Chitrakala Parishad or Venkatappa Art Gallery or the Rangoli Art Gallery. So we, along with the TGIS members, we take it over there. We see that the frames are put up along with the TGIS members. And in case, if at all, if there is any kind of, any kind of scratch or any kind of marks that has come on, then we immediately see that that is replaced. Then after that, and before the exhibition itself, since we are an agency and we have we do graphic design, we do video production, web design, and digital marketing other than our fine art printing. So we help TGIS in coming up with the posters, with the standee designs, and so that various designs which Shankar sir had shown you earlier. And then during the exhibition we are there, and then we have a kind of form that all these people, the buyers, are supposed to fill in, and we take all their details. And once these pictures are purchased, we don't give it then and there. We take it back to a honeycomb, and then we pack it and we deliver it to each and individual buyer's residences. So that's how we have been interacting with TGIS, and we have been glad that we are associated with so nice people like Anand sir, Shankar sir, and we would be doing so in many more years to come. Thank you, Shankar sir.
Do you want to mention anything about this, these prints?
Yeah, so so for example, this particular print, now this is done on a canvas, and we can do a canvas wrap of this, which has been stretched onto a wooden panel. And the main quality of these prints are they last for more than 50 years without fading. And so yeah, so this one is on this is called a gallery wrap, and this is print with a frame. We have a mount around the print. We generally don't put glass because the beauty of the picture goes off, but otherwise in case if people insist on glass, then we do that as well. But otherwise we do a print with a mount and then frame. Yeah, and the sizes goes like generally for the TGI's exhibition, we print on sizes like a 12 by 18 print with a 2-inch mount and a 1-inch frame, and again a 16 by 24 print and a 30 by 20 print. So it comes in 3 sizes and on various medias that TGIS choose from. And we also print on papers from Ilford and Kansan as well, other than Hanimile and Epson. Yes, Shankar sir.
Thank you, Sreekumar. And one important thing is that we could have compromised on the quality. I think these prints do cost a little more than the regular ordinary prints because of the quality of paper and inks that are being used. Because I think even the inks are very expensive. The paper is very expensive. So yes, the cost does go up, but we did not want to compromise on the quality, and we felt that you know, these prints gave us a much better feel of the pictures that we have taken. And every time, you know, when we actually put up this picture in the gallery, and as we are putting up the pictures, and I see my picture there, and I said, oh my God, you know, it looks so good. I mean, you really feel so joyous looking at your picture on print. I mean, it's not comparable to the picture that we would see on the screen. It's a completely new experience. And another thing that we probably forgot to mention is the fact that the payment of the prints is done by the photographer. And not only they pay for the registration fee, but they also pay for their printing as well. And this entire thing is given off when it is sold. The whole money goes to the charity, and the photographer, you know, hardly, you know, gets a single pie from this entire thing. And the fact is that over 7 years, we've been regularly doing this. Itself is a miracle by itself, that so many of us get together and look forward to actually contributing to a worthy cause and actually spending so much money because I think I have spent at some point of time around 10 to 15,000 rupees on prints itself. But I feel very joyful at the end of the day that this print has raised, let us say, 30 or 40,000 rupees. And this 40,000 rupees has gone to the cause. I feel very, very happy at the end of the day. So that joy is something which is very special. And that's the beauty of this whole group, is that they don't get back anything financially, but on the other hand, there's a lot of learning which happens at the end of the day. So we have some, a video that I had made of us putting up the pictures in the gallery. So let's take a moment to watch these time-lapse video. So anyway, these are some snapshots of some of the exhibitions. Again, I think, the layout of the gallery, there are lots of things that we tried. We tried once to put the wildlife on one side and put the landscape on one side. Then once we tried to alternate between landscape and wildlife. Another time we tried to put black and white all together, color together. So we've tried many kinds of things. And then finally, what we realized is what happens on the day of the exhibition is what will happen. All kinds of planning does go for a toss, because the number of pictures are high. We have around 80 different pictures. But what we do is that we put the larger images on the easel so that people can go around and walk around, and the smaller size pictures onto the walls. And that is something that seems to work out. And we try to make it mixed so that the person does not have monotony of seeing the same kind of pictures. So we kind of mix the pictures between landscape, wildlife, nature, portraits, and these kind of things. I think one of the things that we didn't talk about is getting a celebrity to be part of the exhibition. So Meghna, would you like to share some experience of, because Meghna and Dheeraj, I think they're the two go-to people who are highly connected with celebrities whom we connect with to try and see if they can, get us a few people to inaugurate and, bring in some, visibility. So Meghna, your experience in getting some chief guests to be part of our exhibition.
The first thing when you go to press, the first question which get asked was, celebrity, sir? Who's the celebrity? So unless it's a named celebrity, the press wouldn't give you so much of footage what we actually require. And for us, getting the right footage and all the right platform is very important. So finding the celebrity, explaining to them the cause and the pre-work, what we do, and explaining it to them becomes a big task, because some people understand and have been really helpful and have been part of our exhibitions and part of our other MS celebrations also. Like actor Srinath comes for every MS celebrations now, after he came up once as a chief guest for the exhibition. And there are some chief guests I would not want to name anyone, but they do ask for monetary benefits, which is very difficult for us because it's a self-sponsored exhibition and we can't afford any such kind. So there are some really good people out there who understand what we are doing, the cause, the reason why we are doing, and they're ready to come and promote for us. So it becomes a very difficult task to reach out and find such kind of, I would say, down-to-earth personalities out there, and who are pretty popular among the people also, so that we get a lot of footfall. Oh, that celebrity was there for the inauguration of that exhibition. Probably we should go check it out. that kind of reaction is what we would go. It all depends upon the celebrity who would make it to the exhibition. That is also one of the most important aspect of getting things done in an exhibition.
Right. Thanks, Meghna. Pankaj, would you like to comment on this picture? What is the relevance of this picture to? I think this picture is very close to all the TGIS team. So, would you like to share?
Basically, this is our very good friends in Rotary who have been very helping us a lot from an MSI perspective and from a TGIS perspective.
He's the current president, Sanjay Krishna. Yeah.
Sanjay Krishna, yeah. So, and what Sanjay is doing in this is basically we have some sort of a musical instrument as part of every exhibition. I think every exhibition is a different musical instrument, and every time a picture is sold, somebody from the audience says, "I want to buy this picture," then this musical instrument is blown or is played, and which is heard across the exhibition hall, so that also creates some sort of a momentum for the others that hey, others are buying, so why don't you buy as well? Or it's a more joyous factor as well. So this is the significance of this image. That's what Sanjay is doing for us. And this is the coffee table book. We've also made a couple of years back where we created coffee table books with all the pictures of which are being exhibited. And if somebody doesn't want to buy the bigger frame, they can buy this coffee table book for their.
We also had postcards, which we did of the pictures. So the last year's pictures were converted into postcards, and those postcards also used to sell. So a lot of people used to buy postcards, So we innovate. We did some innovations along the way. Some people said, why don't we make some postcards? Why don't we make a coffee table book? And we had information about MSSI and all those things in the coffee table book as well. So people were keen to buy this, and we also got sponsorship for making the coffee table book there. So I think there was a lot of community help in order for us to make this exhibition a success. So I think we have come to the end of the session, and I would like to open it out for any question and answers. So I would ask Vinay to open the chat for others so that we can answer the questions.
It's open. Yeah.
So for all the people who are there, we have around 63 people who are still logged on. I would be very keen to look at if you have any queries or questions about how we went about the exhibition or any particular questions. Here right now in this image, we are seeing that a token of appreciation by a certificate of participation is given to the Ravi, who's our very enthusiastic, passionate photographer friend from TGIS, and this is a small thing that we do, and then you can see that all the photographer friends bring their families and they showcase their work. So it's a really touching moment for all of them to be part of the exhibition. Tanya has raised her hand, so I request Tanya to come on the mic and maybe ask a question.
Hi, Shankar. Thank you so much. This was a really, really interesting session. First of all the panelists, thank you so much for taking time for this. My one question is, we've been doing this for so many years, but now with this current situation, how do we intend to kind of keep this momentum going forward with all the social distancing norms that have come in?
So yeah, that's a very, very good question. We are also asking the same question ourselves. Sreekumar has suggesting some idea that we have some kind of an online presence, or we can put up our pictures. So Sreekumar, do you have any ideas that if you can, suggest as how we could probably take this exhibition virtual? From,
yes. Yes, sir. So one option was to have a virtual gallery where we'll be having few pictures displayed online, like everything would be online, and in case, and then after that, all the pictures would be loaded on a particular website, and then in case if people are interested to buy it, we will print it for them, frame it for them, and send it across to them.
Okay,
once
so
they're interested.
We'll probably work with the TGIS team and try this out.
Yes.
On a virtual exhibition. Let's try this out, and let's see how this whole thing works out. So maybe we need to experiment and see how this works out. This adversity has to make us innovate and come up with some new ideas.
Yes, yes, sir.
Thank you, Shiva, for joining. You've always been a great supporter of us. I think there was a question by Mustafa about the aerial shot. Sharan, would you like to talk something about the aerial shot that was there? That we had. Sharan, can we get you on the mic?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a question which says that was the chopper door open?
I've answered that already. I typed it out, but let me repeat. It was a small door, and they removed the whole door. Very small bubble glass bubble helicopter. It was small, and they removed the whole door, so I could maneuver the camera the way I wanted. I was half out of the door, literally, and the wind was very strong. So, and I had only 100 ISO. Those who understand photography, it was a very dull day, and the film was 100 ISO. So it was till the slides came back in the evening, my heart was in my mouth because I had just a shutter speed of less than 750, and my aperture was 11. So, but I got terrific depth of field. The processing was incredible. So my Kodak, Mr. Prabhu processed it. And when the slides came back in the evening, I was thrilled because the government has spent a lot of money on hiring the helicopter, getting permission from the central government, security clearance, and a whole lot of other things. But the whole door was removed. So that was a great advantage.
Thank you very much, sir. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you. I think there was a suggestion from Sunil also to look at sachiart.com. So
yes, sir. Yeah.
Any other questions? I have, I think, Jaspreet here. Jaspreet, you were part of our initial exhibitions. After that, we have not seen you. So would you like to share your experience of being part of our exhibition, Jaspreet? Jaspreet, bhai.
Shankar, hi, how are you?
Very good, very good. Jaspreet is joining us from Goa.
I think.
Can you, Vinay, can you mute all and then unmute Jaspreet, please?
Yeah. Yeah, Jaspreet can.
Jaspreet, you can unmute yourself and speak.
1 second. Shankar, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Fantastic, Shankar. Yes, I was part of I think the first team started with 2012. And there are so many fond memories that I personally have, of the first exhibition. And of course, learning from Mr. Sharan, he actually taught me how to hold a camera, which I continue to do till now. Never gave that up.
Thanks for remembering.
Yes, and never gave that up, really. Even in these COVID times, I was using my time to take pictures. But yeah, it's been just to see all of you and when I got your mailer yesterday, I think I knew everybody except for Punkaj, the only person I didn't know in that group. Everybody else was so familiar, and there was so much of nostalgic feeling that I had. And I think the last exhibition I participated was in 2018, 2 years ago. Got busy with something last year, but definitely look forward to coming back onto the forum this year. I think the biggest element that we kind of worked upon was the friendship, the camaraderie, and the energy levels that were absolutely incredible.
Absolutely.
The first years that we worked together, we all brought in our own little things into it, chipped in with whatever that we could with our resources and the kind of work that we all do. So I think that is the biggest, takeaway that anybody can have from being in a place like this. And of course, it's a great place in terms of showcasing, learning, seeing others work, and just constantly keep improving. And that's what we all are. We are all at our different stages of learning in terms of photography. What so we continuously keep evolving, and I think that's, if you have an interest in photography, there's no better place to be than this. And of course, the cause is incredible. Of course, I think the first year itself, Shankar, there was some serious amount of money that we managed to kind of bring together, and we used to, remember the big dong that used to go off in Chitrakala CKP, where every time a sale used to happen, and the whole buzz and energy and excitement that got everybody, everybody
Meghna's
used to
got
get
the
into
Google
that.
now. Maybe she can just blow it now.
So great to see that entire team still being there and working together, and incredible work from Honeycomb and the team over there. I think the amount of hard work that they put together, bringing in photographs at odd hours of the night, day, going through every single print. I mean, it's absolutely incredible amount of work that goes together with this. So, I'm right here, and look forward to seeing and doing this again with you all.
Right.
Yeah.
Thanks
so much.
Some questions are here. Jenny from Sreekumar, where is Jenny from?
Portugal.
Portugal, yes.
She's from Portugal, yeah.
And you are most welcome, Jenny, to participate in our exhibition. And we have people from France, United States, and different parts of the world actually participating in our exhibitions in the past. And we'll be very happy to have your pictures, along with ours. So feel free to, whenever we announce it, I think you can stay in touch with TGIS as well as Honeycomb, and we'll be very happy to have your pictures there. There's another question is that there's been a suggestion of using something called Imagine. So we'll explore that. Thank you, Surya Prakash. There were reports of permission being denied at Kavan Park. Yes, I don't know why they have denied these this thing at Kavan Park and Lal Bagh. Now they've banned the photo shoots now, so we need to find other places. So we had tried something like last time we did the Church Street. We tried shooting in Church Street, and we have Hebal Lake. So a couple of other places now we are looking at, and then hoping the COVID situation eases out, we will definitely go back to these places. Shashank Dariwal says, I'm a travel photographer and I've been shooting for quite a while, but I don't know people from photography sphere in Bangalore. You can feel free to search for us at TGIS on Facebook. It is TGIS Bangalore, right, Meghna? Bernie, can you help me out with this thing? Can you just type it out, our link on the chat?
I'll give the URL and ping it, yes. Give me a second.
You can just type it out on the chat and people can join in there. Shiva is saying that as Honeycomb has been supportive, do they have a full-fledged team to come up with a virtual gallery? We should get back to Honeycomb to put out images to be sold online. Sure, Shiva, I think that's what we are working at. Thank you for your inputs, and I think it will benefit all of us. I think a lot of photographers want to put up their images, and Honeycomb has learned a lot by conducting these exhibitions with us and many others also. They've done many exhibitions now, so now they are almost an expert on that. Madhurima says we can go to Jakur Lake. There are some pelicans there, yeah. And Ravi says that he enjoyed the session and looking forward to connecting with the TGIS team. And thanks, Honeycomb, for the webinar. So I really enjoyed this. It was like a flashback of last 7 years for me. I'm feeling very emotional at this point of time, and I'd like to thank Mr. Anand Sharan. Girish could not make it because of some power issues there. Punkaj, thank you for your inputs. Meghna, thank you for putting in your ideas. And Bernie, of course, you have all the records with you, and you helped me to make the presentation as well. Thank you very much. And
Mr. Basaraj had a question. So what happened to the images that are not sold? Did you answer that?
No. Let me just, what happens to the images which are not sold in the exhibition? Normally, we give it back to the photographer. They take it back, and then they use it for themselves, for their personal use. But most of the photographers want their pictures to be sold. So that's the best part of it. So it's not that we pray that our picture is not sold, that we want to take it back home. So most of our friends are very, very excited. And the moment the picture is sold, the excitement is, like we can see them in the seventh heaven when the picture is sold. Ravindran says, what happened to the TGI's magazine we had planned? Yes, we have to probably ask Anikon to try and make an online magazine we can work on and try to see if we can put something together. So thank you, Mustafa, for your support, and thank you, Sreekumar and Nofal and Vinay, for all your support, because you've always been very kind and extending your support to us, and also this webinar, you made it happen. So thank you very much. So I will allow
thank you so much.
Sreekumar to say a few words.
Thank you, Sreekumar. Nofal, thanks so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sreekumar, over to you. You can close the session and then we can.
Thank you, all the panelists. Thank you, Anand sir, Shankar sir, Pankaj, Meghna, Bernie, Girish. Sorry, he couldn't make it. And thank you all the participants for joining on this webinar. We are glad that you liked this session. It was a wonderful session. And please contact us for joining TGIS, or if you would like to get some fine art prints, please contact me. And thank you once again. Thank you all.
So
thank you.
Before, like how we celebrate once the picture is sold, we have the same excitement here. I would like to definitely make the sound.
And that's my director, Mr. Nofal, on the screen along with me.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Meghna. We're listening. We're waiting. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's how we celebrate once the picture gets sold. Every picture gets this.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to that sound, pleasant sound again. Right. So let's hope that we can finish with the COVID and get back to photography and get back to our meets, and also looking forward to the next exhibition. We'll see how we can make it online, and look forward to Sreekumar's and Nofal's support to make it an online exhibition. Thank you very much. Have a nice evening, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. Yeah, bye.